The scream echoed through the empty football field like a gunshot in the dead of night, ripping Alex from the numb haze he'd wrapped around his heart for years. He was halfway across the dew-slicked grass, backpack slung over one shoulder, when he saw it. Jake Harlan, the town's golden boy quarterback, pinning Tommy Ruiz against the chain-link fence, fists flying in a blur of rage and whispered slurs that cut deeper than any punch. Alex froze, heart slamming against his ribs, because Tommy's wide, terrified eyes locked onto his, begging for the help no one else would give. And in that split second, Alex knew his secret world of careful shadows was about to shatter wide open. It was supposed to be just another Friday night in Willow Creek, Ohio, the kind of small town where everyone knew your business before you did, and secrets were like landmines buried under the manicured lawns of Main Street. Alex Harper had mastered the art of invisibility by 17, blend into the lockers at Willow Creek High, laugh at the right jokes in history class, and keep his sketchbook tucked away like a guilty confession. He wasn't out, not to his parents, not to his one real friend, Sarah, who suspected but never pushed, and definitely not to the pack of jocks who ruled the hallways like feudal lords. Being the only gay kid in a town that still whispered about the that-way couple from the 80s who fled after rocks through their windows meant survival was a daily tightrope walk. Alex's days blurred into a rhythm of stolen glances at the boys' soccer team during PE, late-night drawings of impossible futures in his attic room, and the quiet ache of loving from afar. But that night on the field, everything cracked. Tommy, a scrawny sophomore with a mop of black curls and a stutter that made him an easy target, had been dodging Jake's crew for weeks. Rumors swirled that Tommy had been caught looking funny at the urinals, the kind of baseless poison that festered in a place like Willow Creek. Alex had seen the bruises blooming on Tommy's arms in the cafeteria, the way he'd flinch at loud voices, but he'd told himself it wasn't his fight. Not until now. As Jake's knee drove into Tommy's gut, eliciting a gasp that twisted like a knife in Alex's chest, he dropped his bag and charged forward. "Hey, get off him!" The words tore out hoarse and desperate, surprising even him. Jake whirled, his broad shoulders blocking the floodlight's glow, face twisted in that predatory smirk Alex had nightmares about. "Harper? What the hell are you doing out here, freak? This ain't your business." The word freak hung in the air, laced with the undercurrent everyone pretended not to hear, the one that branded Alex as the weird artist kid who didn't chase girls or join the team. Behind Jake, his buddies, Brad and Kyle, snickered, phones already out, capturing the chaos for tomorrow's viral humiliation. Tommy slumped against the fence, wheezing, blood trickling from his split lip, but his eyes still pleaded, "Don't leave me." Alex's pulse thundered in his ears, every instinct screaming to run, to vanish back into his safe, silent corners. But something fiercer ignited, a spark of the boy he'd buried under layers of fear, the one who dreamed of cities where love didn't come with pitchforks. "It is now," he said, stepping closer, voice steadier than he felt. Jake laughed, a bark that echoed off the bleachers, and lunged, not at Tommy, but at Alex, shoving him hard enough to send him sprawling into the mud. Pain bloomed across his palms as he caught himself, but he scrambled up, fists clenched. The fight was uneven, 3-on-1, but Alex swung wildly, connecting with Jake's jaw in a crack that stunned them all. For a heartbeat, the world tilted. Jake staggered, eyes wide with shock, and Tommy bolted, vanishing into the shadows like a ghost. By the time the janitor's flashlight swept the field, scattering the group like roaches, Alex was alone, bruised and breathless, staring at the stars that felt a million miles from Willow Creek's chokehold. He limped home through back alleys, the adrenaline crash leaving him hollow. His mom was asleep on the couch, TV flickering with some late-night infomercial, Dad out on another long-haul truck run. Alex bandaged his knuckles in the bathroom mirror, avoiding his reflection, the boy with the too soft jawline and eyes that betrayed too much. What did you do? The question looped in his mind. He'd save Tommy, maybe, but at what cost? Monday would bring the reckoning. Whispers, stares, maybe worse. And deep down, in the pit of his stomach, a whisper of regret. Not for fighting, but for the lie he'd lived so long it felt like truth. School hit like a freight train. The hallways buzzed with the video Jake had posted at midnight. Grainy footage of the brawl, captioned, "Weirdos sticking together Willow Creek strong." Alex's phone blew up with notifications he didn't dare open, classmates parting like the Red Sea as he headed to first period. Sarah caught him at his locker, her freckled face pale under her red ponytail. "Alex, what the hell? I saw the post. Are you okay?" She was the only one who'd ever asked that without judgment, the straight-A theater kid who'd dragged him to auditions last year, insisting he had stage presence, even if he bombed every line. "I'm fine," he muttered, slamming the locker harder than intended. But he wasn't. His ribs ached from Jake's boot, and the weight of eyes boring into his back felt like Judgment Day. "Just stay out of it, Sar. Please." She opened her mouth to argue, but the bell rang, swallowing her words. English class was torture. Mr. Ellis droning about The Great Gatsby, while Jake lounged 2 rows back, shooting glares that promised payback. Alex kept his head down, pencil sketching absent spirals in his notebook, until the door swung open mid-lecture. "Class, we have a new student joining us today," Mr. Ellis announced, adjusting his glasses. "Everyone meet Elias Crow. He's transferring from Chicago. Make him feel welcome." The room fell silent as Elias stepped in, and Alex's world tilted again. Tall and lean, with tousled dark hair that fell over one eye, olive skin, and a leather jacket that screamed big city edge, Elias scanned the room with a cool detachment that made the air hum. His gaze skipped over Jake's scowl, lingered on Tommy in the corner, who shrank smaller, and landed on Alex. For a split second, something electric passed between them. Recognition? Curiosity? Then Elias slid into the empty seat by the window, pulling out a battered notebook like he owned the place. Whispers erupted as Mr. Ellis resumed, but Alex couldn't focus. Chicago. Elias was from a place with pride parades and rainbow flags waving from fire escapes, not cornfields and church potlucks. What was a guy like that doing in Willow Creek? And why did his presence feel like a storm cloud rolling in, promising rain on Alex's carefully tended drought? Lunch was a minefield. Sarah dragged him to their usual table in the corner, away from the jock brigade, but Tommy hovered nearby, tray trembling. "Thanks," he mumbled, eyes downcast. "For last night. I owe you." "You don't," Alex said softly, glancing around. "Just watch your back." Tommy nodded and scurried off, leaving Alex with a knot of unease. Sarah leaned in. "New guy's hot. Think he's single?" She waggled her eyebrows, but her eyes were sharp, probing. Alex shrugged, heat creeping up his neck. Who cares? But he did too much. From across the cafeteria, Elias sat alone, picking at a sandwich, his posture screaming back off even as girls giggled and shot sidelong glances. When their eyes met again, Elias held it this time, a faint smirk tugging his lips before he looked away. Alex's heart stuttered. Danger, it warned. But the good kind? The rest of the week blurred into a tense standoff. Jake's crew upped their game, shoulder checks in the halls, "Fag" scrawled on Alex's locker in Sharpie, but Elias's arrival shifted the undercurrents. He didn't join any cliques, just observed with that quiet intensity, acing pop quizzes and sketching in the margins during free periods. Alex caught glimpses, intricate line drawings of city skylines, a far cry from his own soft portraits. By Friday, the rumors had evolved. Elias was trouble from the city, expelled for fighting, or worse, for being one of those activist types. Alex dismissed it as small-town xenophobia, but the seed of curiosity took root. It sprouted that afternoon in art class, the one elective where Alex let his guard down. Ms. Rivera had them working on charcoal studies, the room thick with graphite dust and the scratch of pencils. Alex was lost in a sketch of the old mill by the creek, twisted metal and forgotten dreams, when a shadow fell over his paper. "That's killer," a low voice said. Elias. Up close, he smelled like rain and worn leather, his green-flecked hazel eyes pinning Alex in place. "You see the bones of things. Most people just draw the surface." Alex's throat went dry. Thanks. You're good too." He nodded at Elias's easel, a stormy abstract that screamed unrest. Elias chuckled, a sound like distant thunder. "Flattery? From the town hero who took on Jake Harlan." Alex flushed, ducking his head. "Hero? Nah, just stupid." Elias leaned against the table, casual but close enough to make Alex's skin prickle. Stupid's what they call courage when it scares them. Saw the video. You didn't hesitate. Their eyes locked again, and this time, Alex saw it. The mirror of his own hidden fractures, the weight of unspoken truths. They talked, halting at first, then easier, as the bell rang and students filed out. Elias was from Chicago's South Side, moved after his mom's job loss, dad long gone. Willow Creek's like a bad dream, he said, slinging his bag. But you've got fight. That's rare. Alex walked him to the parking lot, the autumn air crisp with falling leaves. For the first time in years, the silence between words felt companionable, not suffocating. Want to grab coffee sometime? Real coffee, not this gas station swill. Elias's grin was crooked, inviting. Alex's yes tumbled out before fear could catch it. That night, alone in his room, Alex replayed the conversation like a forbidden reel. Elias's laugh, the way his fingers brushed charcoal smudges from his jeans, it stirred something dormant, a hope he'd locked away. But as he stared at the ceiling cracks mapping his isolation, doubt crept in. What if Elias was straight, just friendly? What if he found out, and the whole town turned? Sleep came fitful, dreams tangled with punches and green eyes. Monday brought the first storm. Alex spotted Elias in the lot, but Jake intercepted, flanked by Brad. City boys got a mouth. Jake sneered, loud enough for passers-by. Heard you like drawing dicks in class. Elias didn't flinch, just tilted his head. Jealous? Or just mad I draw better than you throw? The crowd owed, tension coiling. Alex hovered at the edge, fists itching. Jake stepped closer, chest puffed. Watch yourself, Crow. We don't need your kind stirring shit. The slur landed like a slap. You're kind. And Elias's jaw tightened, but he held ground. Kinda like the air here. Stale. Alex intervened before fists flew, pulling Elias away with a muttered, not worth it. They ended up behind the gym, breaths ragged. Thanks, Elias said, rubbing his knuckles. But I can handle myself. Alex met his gaze. I know. Just don't want you ending up like Tommy. Elias's expression softened, something vulnerable flickering. Tommy's story yours too. The question hung, heavy. Alex swallowed. Maybe. Elias nodded. No pressure, just understanding. Coffee tomorrow? After school. Neutral ground. It became their ritual. The dingy diner on the edge of town, where the waitress called everyone Han, and the pie was always stale. Elias opened up in fragments. Nights at Chicago rallies, the ache of hiding from his mom, the brother he'd lost to the streets. Alex shared sketches, stories of Willow Creek's invisible walls, the dad who preached man up from afar. Laughter wove in, tentative then free, and touches lingered. A knee bump under the table, fingers brushing over sugar packets. Alex's heart raced with possibility, terror. Was this flirting? Friendship? The line blurred, intoxicating. But Willow Creek doesn't yield easy. Sarah noticed first, cornering Alex after theater rehearsal. You're glowing, weirdo. Spill. He deflected, but her eyes narrowed. Elias? Be careful. Jake's gunning for him. And you. She was right. The harassment escalated. Slashed tires on Elias's beat-up Honda. Graffiti on his locker spelling, "Go home queer." Elias shrugged it off, but Alex saw the toll. The shadowed eyes, the clenched fists. One night, after a particularly vicious note slipped into his bag, "We know what you are," Elias cracked. They sat on the creek bank, stars pricking the sky. Why stay hidden? He asked, voice raw. It's killing you. Alex's chest tightened. Because coming out here? It's not parades. It's exile. He traced the water's ripple, voice breaking. My parents. They'd shatter. And the town? They'd burn it all down. Elias turned, face inches away, moonlight carving shadows on his cheekbones. Not if we face it together. The words hung, a bridge over the chasm. Alex leaned in, breath mingling, and their lips met, soft, tentative, a spark igniting dry tinder. It was everything. Terror and triumph, the world narrowing to that point of contact. They pulled back, foreheads touching, grins shaky. Together, Alex whispered. The fallout was swift. Jake caught them the next day, walking too close in the hall, hands brushing. His roar drew a crowd. Fucking fags. The slur exploded like shrapnel, freezing the air. Phones whipped out, Sarah shoving through to Alex's side. But Jake charged, fist cocked. Elias blocked, taking the hit to his shoulder with a grunt. Chaos erupted. Teachers yelling, bodies colliding, until Principal Hayes hauled them all to the office. Suspended, Jake for assault, Alex and Elias for disruption. Tommy, witnessing from the fringes, slipped Alex a note later. "You're brave. I'm with you." Home was hell. Alex's mom, sensing the shift, confronted him over dinner. Cold meatloaf and unspoken accusations. "What's this about fighting? And that new boy?" Her eyes, once soft, hardened with fear. "Alex, don't make us the talk of the town." He cracked then, words spilling. The hiding, the ache, the love blooming fierce and unapologetic. She recoiled, tears streaking. "God, no. Not my boy. Dad's call that night was worse." Boomed voice over speaker. "Fix this, son, or you're on your own." The rejection carved deep, but Elias's text lit the dark. "My place. Now, we're in this." Elias's mom, Rosa, welcomed him with coffee and quiet wisdom, her own scars from Chicago's underbelly forging steel. "Love's a revolution, Mijo. Fight for it." They spent the suspension plotting, a GSA club, anonymous posts calling out the hate, reaching out to Tommy and other shadows. But twists lurked. Sarah confessed her own secret. By, scared, and joined the fray. Then the bomb. Jake's dad, the sheriff, pressured the school to expel Elias, citing moral turpitude. Panic surged. Alex confronted Jake alone by the field, the sight of it all. "Why? We're not hurting you." Jake's face crumpled, mask slipping. "Because my brother's like you. Came out last year. Family disowned him. I can't." The admission hung, raw. Forgiveness? No. But understanding cracked the hate. Jake walked away, shoulders slumped, a seed of change planted. Climax built like thunder. The town hall meeting, called over youth violence, became ground zero. Alex, Elias, Sarah, even Tommy, stood before glaring faces, pastors thundering scripture, neighbors clutching pearls. Alex's voice shook but held. "Hate isn't tradition. It's fear, and we're done hiding." Elias followed, story weaving with Alex's, their hands clasped defiantly. Gasps rippled, but applause too, from the back, Rosa and a cluster of allies. Jake appeared last, voice cracking. "I was wrong. My brother's worth fighting for. So are they." The room fractured, debates raging into the night, but the tide shifted, subtly, irrevocably. In the aftermath, wounds healed crooked. Alex's parents attended family therapy, steps tentative but real. Tommy found his voice, sketching with Alex, budding crush on a kind-eyed girl in art class. Elias and Alex's love deepened, not in grand gestures but quiet ones. Shared sunrises, whispered dreams of Chicago escapes. Willow Creek didn't transform overnight. Prejudices lingered like fog, but cracks let light in. Alex, once the ghost, now walked tall, sketchbook open, heart unguarded. The new student hadn't destroyed his quiet life. He'd rebuilt it, brick by fierce brick, into something unbreakable. The winter chill settled over Willow Creek like a shroud, frosting the windows of the Harper house and mirroring the frost in Alex's resolve. 2 weeks after the town hall, the air still hummed with undercurrents, whispers in the grocery aisles, sidelong glances at the diner. But Alex felt the shift, subtle as the first thaw. Elias had become his anchor, their evenings a ritual of stolen moments. Huddled in the old mill's ruins, sharing thermoses of hot chocolate while stars wheeled overhead. "You think they'll ever get it?" Alex asked one night, breath clouding between them. Elias pulled him closer, arm a warm weight across his shoulders. "Some will, others won't. But we don't need the whole town, just us." His kiss was gentle, chasing away the cold, but Alex tasted the unspoken. Elias's mom had landed a job interview in Cleveland, a step toward escape. The word temporary echoed hollow. Alex buried the fear, focusing on the now, the way Elias's laugh lit the dark, how his sketches now included 2 figures intertwined, defying the town's grayscale. School resumed with barbed normalcy. Principal Hayes, under board pressure, reinstated them with warnings, but the GSA petitions circulated underground, signatures trickling in from unlikely quarters. The librarian who'd lost a son to suicide years back, a few jocks shamed into silence. Jake kept his distance, head down in classes, but Alex caught him staring. Not with hate, but something fractured, like a mirror mended wrong. Sarah thrived in the chaos, directing a school play with queer undertones that had parents clutching programs. "Art's our weapon," she'd say, winking at Alex during rehearsals. But peace was a fragile truce. The first real fracture came mid-January, during a snowstorm that blanketed Willow Creek in white silence. Alex was at Elias's, helping Rosa unpack boxes for her potential move, when his phone buzzed. Tommy, frantic. "They're at my house. Jake's crew. Said they know about everything." Heart-lurching, Alex grabbed keys, Elias' shotgun, tires spinning on ice as they raced through swirling flurries. Tommy's trailer squatted on the outskirts, lights flickering like a heartbeat. They arrived to shouts, shadows looming on the porch, Brad and Kyle, bottles in hand, Jake hanging back, face ashen. "Get out!" Tommy yelled from the door, voice cracking. Brad lunged, but Elias was faster, tackling him into the snow with a thud. Alex hauled Kyle back by his collar, adrenaline surging. "Enough!" The word boomed, surprising them all. Jake stepped forward, hands raised. "We weren't. I told them to stop. Swear. Lies or truth?" His eyes darted to Tommy, then away, guilt, raw and unpolished. Sirens wailed distant, Rosa's call to the sheriff paying off. The crew scattered, but not before Brad spat. Freaks ruining everything. Inside, Tommy collapsed on the sagging couch, shaking. His mom, a weary nurse with calloused hands, brewed tea with trembling fingers. They've been at him since the video. Notes, calls, saying he'll burn like the devil's own. Alex knelt, meeting Tommy's eyes. "You're not alone. We end this." Elias nodded, fierce. That night, they drafted the post, anonymous, detailing the harassment, tagging the sheriff's office. It went viral locally, shares climbing into the hundreds. Jake's dad faced questions, badge tarnished. For the first time, accountability loomed. The backlash was vicious. Church flyers decried Sodom's influence, and Alex's dad stormed home early from a rout, face thunderous. "You're tearing this family apart," he bellowed, slamming the door. Mom hovered, torn, her therapy epiphany clashing with lifelong doctrine. "We love you, Alex. But this, it's too much." The words gutted him, love weaponized into chains. He fled to Elias, collapsing on the porch swing. "They want me fixed. Like I'm broken." Elias held him through sobs, whispers fierce. "You're whole. And mine." In that vulnerability, their bond forged deeper, love a defiant flame. Spring thawed the fields, but not the tensions. GSA launched officially, 20 members strong, meetings in the library a haven of shared stories. Tommy bloomed there, his stutter easing as he shared poems about shadows lifting. Sarah directed Angels in America for the spring play, casting Elias as Prior, his raw monologue on loss drawing tears even from skeptics. Alex designed sets, painting backdrops of fractured skylines merging into rainbows. Rehearsals became family, laughter echoing late, pizza boxes piling. Yet twists sharpened the blade. Elias's mom got the Cleveland job. Confirmation came in April, move set for June. "It's an hour away," Elias said, voice strained over diner coffee. "We can weekend. Make it work." Alex nodded, but dread coiled. Distance in Willow Creek meant gossip, suspicion, the city boys running from the freak. Worse, a letter arrived. Anonymous, postmarked local, detailing Alex's sins with photos snapped from bushes, him and Elias by the creek. Attached, a Polaroid of Tommy's vandalized door. "Confess, or we expose." Panic clawed. Who? Jake seemed reformed, mentoring younger kids awkwardly. But doubt festered. They confided in Sarah, who rallied the GSA for a sting. Fake meeting, hidden recorder. The trap sprung on Kyle, caught slipping another note. His confession spilled motives born of Jake's old pressure, but a deeper rot. His own closeted terror, lashing out to bury it. Didn't mean. Just scared. Forgiveness was a jagged pill, but Alex offered it, seeing his younger self in Kyle's tears. Hide less. It kills slower. The exposure post dropped, town reeling. Protests flared, picketers at school, counter-rallies with rainbow signs trucked from Columbus. Alex's parents attended one, standing awkward at the edges, hands clasped. Dad's apology came halting over backyard burgers. Didn't see you. Sorry, son. Steps, not leaps, but enough to breathe. Graduation loomed, cap and gown a threshold. Elias and Alex's prom was defiance. Matching ties, slow dance under twinkling lights as whispers faded to irrelevance. But the night twisted. Jake approached, sober, extending a hand. For my brother. And you guys. Peace. Alex shook, wariness lingering, but hope flickering. Later, under stadium lights, Elias pulled Alex aside. Marry me? Someday. When we're free. The ring, a simple band from a pawn shop, slipped on, promise sealed. Summer dawned golden, but Willow Creek tested final. A pride event, first ever, drew crowds. Allies, haters. Alex spoke, voice steady. Love isn't destruction. It's home. Elias beside him, hand in hand. Clashes erupted, shoves, shouts, but de-escalated, police neutral for once. In the melee, Tommy shielded a younger kid. Finding his hero arc, Sarah kissed a girl publicly, grin blazing. As August burned, Elias moved, but weekends bridged. Train rides, shared apartments in Cleveland's buzz. Alex stayed, finishing senior year strong, college acceptances piling, art school in Chicago calling. Willow Creek softened at edges. GSA thrived. Jake volunteered at the center, his brother visiting, healing threads weaving. Looking back, the new student hadn't destroyed Alex's life. He'd excavated it, unearthing gold from clay. Love, once a whisper, roared now, unbreakable. Yet even as the pieces settled, Willow Creek's underbelly stirred anew, reminding Alex that peace was a garden requiring constant weeding. September brought senior year, hallways echoing with fresh faces and recycled dramas. But Alex walked them with a new stride. Elias's ring hidden under his class ring, a talisman against the stares that lingered. The GSA had grown to 30, meetings spilling into the auditorium, voices overlapping in stories of first crushes and family fractures. Tommy, now a junior, co-led with surprising poise, his poems published in the school lit mag, a quiet triumph that made Alex's chest swell with pride. Sarah, ever the whirlwind, had landed a scholarship to NYU's theater program, her going-away party a bonfire of inside jokes and tearful hugs. Don't let this town grind you down, Alex, she whispered, clinking sodas. You're too bright for it. He promised, but the ache of her leaving gnawed, another thread fraying in his patchwork life. Elias's visits were lifelines. Friday nights in Cleveland, navigating his mom's cramped apartment, cooking disastrous meals that ended in laughter and tangled sheets of emotion, not excess. Miss you. Elias would murmur into Alex's hair, and Alex would cling tighter, memorizing the rhythm of his breath. The first tremor hit in October, during homecoming week. The theme, Pioneers of Tomorrow, irony thick as the fog rolling off the river. Alex, roped into float committee by Ms. Rivera, spent afternoons in the gym, spray painting cardboard rainbows that doubled as abstract art. Elias drove down for the game, slipping into the bleachers incognito until halftime, when he joined Alex on the sidelines, arms slung casual around his waist. The crowd noticed, murmurs rippling like wine through corn, but this time, cheers drowned them. GSA, kids waving signs. Love wins here. Jake was there too, quarterbacking with mechanical precision, his post-redemption arc awkward but earnest. After the win, he jogged over, helmet under arm, sweat-streaked face earnest. Good game, Crow. You sticking around? Elias nodded, tension easing. For now. Jake hesitated, then, hey, my brother's coming for Thanksgiving. Family thing. You guys should come. The invite hung, olive branch extended. Alex blinked, processing. Us. Jake shrugged. Yeah, make it weird or whatever. Just. Yeah. He jogged off, leaving Alex stunned. Progress, prickly but real. Thanksgiving proved the twist. The Harlan farm sprawled on Willow Creek's edge, silos like sentinels against the harvest moon. Alex and Elias arrived with pie from Rosa, nerves jangling. Jake's mom, a steel-haired woman with laugh lines etched deep, enveloped them in hugs that smelled of yeast and forgiveness. His brother, Matt, tall, tattooed, with Jake's jaw but softer eyes, greeted them with a firm handshake. Heard you kicked some sense into this idiot, Matt said, jerking a thumb at Jake. Dinner unfolded in fits. Turkey carved with shaky hands. Stories of Matt's life in Seattle. Bartending at a gay club. Building a chosen family. Jake listened rapt. The boy who'd once swung fists now absorbing lessons in quiet awe. But midway, the dam broke. Matt turned to Alex, voice low. Jake told me what he did. To you, to Tommy. I'm sorry for him, for us. Tears welled, unashamed. Alex's throat tightened. He's changing. That's enough. Elias squeezed his knee under the table, anchor steady. Later, by the fire pit, Matt shared his exile. Disowned at 17, hitchhiking west with $20 and a backpack. Town like this, it chews you up if you let it. Elias nodded, sharing his dad's absence, the streets that nearly claimed him. Jake hovered at the edges, then joined, voice small. I was scared. Of losing you, Matt. Didn't know how to. Not hate. The confession circled, catharsis in embers glow. Alex felt the weight lift, not gone but lighter. Winter holidays tested the mint. Alex's parents hosted a tense dinner. Elias invited, accepted with stiff politeness. Dad grilled him on plans. Mom passed potatoes with forced smiles. College? She asked, eyes pleading normalcy. Elias charmed. Engineering, maybe art. Whatever keeps me creating. Alex beamed, but later, in his room, Mom lingered. He's good for you. I see it now. The admission, small, cracked her shell further. Dad grumbled, but thawed over board games. A reluctant laugh escaping at Elias's monopoly ruthlessness. Christmas brought surprise. A package from Sarah, NYU postmarked, framed playbills, and a letter. Killing it here. Miss my Willow weirdos. P.S. date night in the city soon. Joy spiked, plans hatching. But January shadowed with news. Kyle, outed by his own post in a GSA meeting haze, faced home hell. His parents, church deacons, shipped him to conversion camp whispers. Alex and Elias drove to the edge of town, meeting Kyle in a parking lot, duffel in hand. Run with us, Elias urged. Kyle shook his head, eyes hollow. Can't. But thanks for showing me it's possible. He vanished into the night, a ghost seeking light. The encounter haunted, fueling Alex's resolve. Spring semester surged with applications. Alex's portfolio to Chicago Art Institute, Elias scouting transfers. Their love evolved, letters when distance bit, video calls laced with inside jokes. Willow Creek's GSA hosted its first Pride Week. Assemblies on allyship, murals blooming on walls. Tommy's speech, stutter-free, drew standing ovations. Shadows don't define us. Light does. Pride swelled, collective. But the deepest twist uncoiled in May, from season redux for juniors. Tommy, crushing hard on Miah from drama club, out and fierce, asked her awkwardly, hard on sleeve. She said yes, but bullies targeted, slash prom dress left at her locker, note, no fags at our dance. Fury ignited. Alex rallied. Crowdfund new dress, GSA chaperone squad. Prom night glittered defiant. Tommy and Miah twirling under disco lights. Alex and Elias visiting, stealing a dance. Jake DJing awkwardly to offset his past. Post-prom bonfire, revelations flowed. Miah confided to Alex. Tommy's poem? About you, first. Inspired him. Alex blushed, honored. Elias pulled him aside, stars witness, Chicago in fall. Together? Alex's yes was a vow, rings glinting. Graduation dawned humid, gowns heavy with memory. Valedictorian Sarah zoomed in, speech proxy via video. Willow taught us fight. Now fly. Diplomas in hand. Alex scanned the crowd. Parents beaming tentative. Elias grinning front row. Tommy waving from kin. Jake nodding respect. The cap toss scattered confetti like seeds. Summer bridged. Road trip to Cleveland. Rose's kitchen a hub of plans. Alex's parents visited, awkward but warming. Dad teaching Elias truck knots. Mom sharing recipes. Willow Creek faded backdrop as Chicago loomed, skyline promise. The new arrival had upended, yes, but rebuilt grander. Love's destruction birthed creation, enduring. College beckoned like a siren's call. Chicago's pulse a stark contrast to Willow Creek's somnolent tick. Alex arrived first, Dorm room a shoebox of exposed brick and possibility. Sketchpad already blooming with urban vignettes. Graffiti murals whispering rebellion. Lake Michigan's vast blue mirroring inner expanses. Elias followed weeks later, transferring credits seamlessly. Their reunion in Grant Park a collision of laughter and limbs. Kisses fierce under bean reflections, the world vast and indifferent to their story. Campus life enveloped them. Art critiques were Alex's Willow-inspired pieces, faded towns cracked by rainbows. Earned nods from profs with tattoos and tails. Engineering labs where Elias tinkered late, emerging grease-streaked and glowing. They carved routines, Sunday brunches at hole-in-wall spots, pride flags fluttering from their window overlooking the L's rumble. Love deepened in layers. Arguments over forgotten, chores dissolving into makeup talks till dawn, vulnerabilities shared like sacred texts. "You saved me," Alex murmured one night, head on Elias's chest. "No," Elias replied, fingers tracing scars. "We saved each other." Back home, threads pulled taut. Willow Creek simmered, GSA thriving under Tommy's stewardship, now dating Miah openly, their couple a beacon for underclassmen. Jake enrolled at community college, majoring in social work, ironic redemption, volunteering at the center he'd once terrorized. Holidays home-tested, Alex's parents, evolved through PFLAG meetings, hosted Elias with genuine warmth. Dad's grill sessions a ritual of gruff affection. "Proud of you, son," he said once, voice gravel-soft, over charred steaks. The words healed old fissures. Sarah's orbit drew them to New York winters, Broadway shows and rooftop toasts, her off-Broadway gig a whirlwind. "Willow feels like another life," she confessed over dim sum, but her eyes held the steel forged there. Visits to Kyle's surfaced too. He'd landed in Seattle with Matt's help, bartending and therapy, letters exchanged like lifelines. "Your fight gave me mine," he wrote. Alex pocketed the note, humility heavy. Twists lingered, subtle. Sophomore year, a gallery show invite for Alex. His series Fractured Fields, touring Midwest museums. Willow Creek's own slated. Return stirred ghosts. Old bullies now distant clerks. Whispers evolved to curious questions. The opening drew a crowd, parents beaming, Tommy and Miah gushing, Jake lingering at the edge, buying a print quietly. "Means something," he muttered. Elias, beside Alex under spotlights, squeezed his hand, pride, unfiltered. But the real quake hit junior year, spring break. Elias's mom, Rosa, diagnosed, breast cancer aggressive. Cleveland treatments blurred into Chicago commutes. Alex skipping classes to hold her hand during chemo drips. Elias's face a mask cracking in private. "What if?" he whispered nights, fears shadow long. Alex anchored. "Then we fight." Like always. They rallied family. Willow kin driving up with casseroles, Sarah flying in for laughs. Rose's remission came hard-won. Summer, her hug bone-tight. "You boys, my miracles." Healing rippled. Matt and Jake reconciled fully. A family trip to the coast mending bonds. Tommy proposed to Miah post-grad. Willow wedding a rainbow affair. Alex best man. Speech weaving their shared survival. Sarah's engagement to her leading lady prompted a double date in the city, toasts to chosen paths. Alex's thesis evolved. Interactive installations on small-town queerness. VR journeys through what-ifs. Elias proposed properly. Kneeling by the lake. Ring upgraded. Words choked. "Build forever with me?" "Yes," tear-streaked, sealed with salt wind. Senior year crested with accolades. Alex's solo exhibit. Elias's internship at a green tech firm. Graduation duel. Caps airborne. Families merged in cheers. Willow Creek visit post-ceremony. A quiet dinner. Town now a chapter, not cage. Years layered. Wedding in Chicago. Rooftop vows under city lights. Willow guests toasting growth. Careers bloomed. Alex gallery curator. Elias sustainable architect. Kids came via surrogacy. Twins with Elias's eyes and Alex's curls. Raised in stories of fight and love. Looking back, the destruction was alchemy. Quiet life transmuted to legacy. The only gay kid, now patriarch of a lineage unbroken. Decades wove their tapestry. threads of joy and scar tissue intertwining into a life richly worn. Alex and Elias's Chicago brownstone became haven. Walls lined with canvases chronicling their arc, from willow sketches to abstract evolutions of urban hearts. The twins, Jordan and Riley, grew fierce. Jordan's activism echoing Alex's early fire, Riley's engineering bent mirroring Elias, both out and unapologetic from grade school talks. Family dinners rang with debates, climate justice, queer history, the town's latest GSA milestone. Willow Creek evolved in echoes. Retirement brought Alex and Elias back seasonally. A cottage by the creek where the mill's ruins now housed an art co-op. Tommy and Mia's bed and breakfast thrived, rainbow banners welcoming tourists to Pride's pioneer town. Jake, social worker turned councilman, championed ordinances against hate, his speeches citing old mistakes with humbled grace. Sarah's Broadway run inspired a local theater, her visits sparking workshops. Kyle, settled in Seattle with a partner in practice, collaborated on therapy apps for rural youth. But time's twist sharpened edges. Elias's health faltered mid-60s, heart strained from youth stresses, doctors prescribing rest. Alex enforced with gentle tyranny. "We've got stories left," he'd say, coaxing walks by the lake. Elias grumbled but complied, their hands linked as ever, rings dulled but enduring. A scare, bypass surgery, rallied the clan. Kids flying in, Willow friends caravanning, Rosa, cancer-free, feisty, bossing nurses. Recovery was slow, but Elias emerged softer, priorities crystal, more sunsets, less spreadsheets. Grandkids arrived like comets. Jordan's daughter, a Spitfire artist. Riley's son, gear-tinkering prodigy. Alex doted, sketching their chaos. Elias building forts from scrap. Holidays home blended worlds. Chicago feasts with Willow potlucks. Stories circling like smoke. The field fight. Town hall thunder. Prom dances defiant. "You started it, Grandpa Alex," the kids teased, and he'd laugh. Eyes on Elias. "Nah, he did." A final turn came quietly, autumn of their 70s. Willow Creek's Pride Parade. Now annual, streets awash in color, honored pioneers. Alex and Elias as grand marshals float a recreated mill blooming rainbows. Jake, graying, emceeing. These two? They broke the ground we walk. Cheers roared, but midway, Elias faltered, chest tight, vision blurring. Alex caught him, ambulance wailing through confetti. Hospital vigil, family huddled, machines beeping dirge. Elias woke groggy, squeezing Alex's hand. "Not yet. Dance one more." They did. Weeks later, slow sway in the cottage, phonograph crooning old jazz. But decline hastened. Winter claimed him gently, surrounded by loves woven from that fateful field. Grief hollowed Alex, a chasm wind whistling. Willow funeral drew multitudes. Town en masse, stories eulogizing the boy who'd destroyed to rebuild. Alex spoke last, voice steady. "He didn't end my life. He began it, endless." Healing came in fragments, grandkid cuddles, canvas strokes bleeding sorrow to beauty. A year on, Alex founded the Elias Crow Foundation, scholarships for rural queer youth, art grants bridging divides. Solitude suited late, Alex wandering creekside, sketching ghosts. Sarah's final visit, frail but fierce, he'd say live loud. She passed months later, stage lights dimmed. Tommy and Mia's retirement party toasted survivors. Jake's mayoral run pledged equity. Into 80s, Alex mentored. Chicago visits, Willow workshops, pen paling far-flung kids. Jordan's exhibit, Echoes of Elders, featured his originals, loop closing. Heart faltered one spring dawn. Peaceful, sketchpad open to intertwined figures. Legacy lingered. Town plaque by the field, where courage began. Kids tracing letters. The only gay kid's quiet life? Shattered, yes, but mosaicked into eternity, love's prisms eternal. Epilogue whispers in the hush of memory. Willow Creek's fields now solar farmed, golden under prairie sun. The Harper Crow cottage stands sentinel, walls echoing laughter of generations. Jordan's daughter curating local exhibits. Riley's son engineering pride floats. Tommy's grandniece leads GSA, Mia's recipes and community cookbooks. Jake's daughter, councilwoman, Unveil statues, two figures hand in hand, plaque reading, From Shadows to Dawn. Alex's archives, donated to Chicago's Queer History Museum, draw scholars. Theses on rural resilience, films scripted from his journals. Elias's designs grace sustainable towns, blueprints etched with Build Bold. Sarah's archive, Broadway-bound biography, spotlights Willow's spark. A century on, descendants gather annually. Creekside picnic, stories recited like liturgy. The scream, the charge, the kiss under stars. Great-grandpa Alex and Elias, they say, didn't just survive. They remade the world, one brave step. The quiet life destroyed? Reborn infinite, love's echo undying.